It's April 5th, 2022. I'm watching the GMA3, What You Need to Know. I noticed that it changed over from its blue, white, orange natural state, although they still have the graphics up there. The desk only has the two women and then a different color arrangement at the front of the desk. During this particular episode that they're airing on my New York station at on April 5th, 2022, there are also involved two commercial pieces that I found very interesting. One talks about intracellular something or other, which I've never, ever heard them talk about. So it's a first for me. And then later, almost towards the end of the program, they mentioned something about something that's called COPD. This I have heard about. It's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, where it is chronic, meaning that it happens all of the time. It's not an acute symptom. I have this range between acute and obtuse from my own personal. However, I did have a woman, I cannot remember her name. She was in the book of clients that I had that are private but public record, depending on who's asking. And she had a house in Ronkonkoma that she sold. But she walked around with an oxygen tank. She wanted to meet me. She said she had a really hard time with breathing. She didn't tell me anything. She said she had a husband, and he died a horrible death as well. I don't know how she found me, but she wanted me to know who she was, and that she had this thing called COPD, and that it involved an oxygen tank, and I witnessed her briefly before she moved out. I don't know where she went. But they're mentioning on this GMA3 today, towards the end, a new medicine that they came out with. There's a couple of other key pieces that I noticed, like Seattle put a face to their criminal justice. I'm like, right, is that the organized crimes version of justice, like at the lower level? Because, again, you need participants, and I'm just whatever. At this point, it's just hard to find an entryway when you can't even assimilate any longer in what is still a Mount Rushmore area. Just hard to find active participants. If I don't know if they're disappearing, if they're not being offered things and being replaced by other things. It's hard to tell what in the tarnation is going on. I think Yosemite Sam used to say that on Looney Tunes or Melodies, Merry Melodies. It's one or the other. It's one of those cartoons that were put in along with Marvin the Martian, the Little Green Man, the one, when I was a young kid, in urban diction legend mentioned, so there's some unity amongst the whatever.
Send any robot with what you need to know. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks.
So now, if you notice, this part of the desk changed colors right here. There's some kind of different graphic, different color schematic, and also there's only two, I don't know, whatever you call them, at the desk of whatever this is. I don't have a word construct that's approved, that somebody at like master's level has, in my category anyway, has given me. So I'm always hesitant with, I try to stick with what I've built in my data torrent, just so this way I have a method of communicating with a white shark so I don't get eaten.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday for What You Need to Know. We're very happy you're here with us. TJ is on assignment. You saw him running through campus at his alma mater. He's going to be rising and shining with everyone from Arkansas tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're holding down the fort. Yes, we have, of course, Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jen Ashton, as we track all of the day's major developments, and we're keeping an eye on this big number. Take a look. COVID-19 related hospitalization.
Now this is interesting. I don't know what this big shield means in that color range with this going on behind it. Always makes me weary and leery in New York in my one of 48 puzzle pieces, only because of what I stumbled upon with that guy Frank, who's not French and he's not Frank. But his label on his birth certificate says he's Frank, but he's not the kind of Frank. Again, it's this communications project is, I don't even want to say for the birds, because I don't want to label them as if they are allowable birds to fly. So it's grounded. I mean, it's ground, and it's ground in, dug in. It is a terrible situation between the labels that the parents of baby boomers and the generation before that gave and gifted, and then the way that those labels and on characters druidically are all misarranged and misaligned. I mean, it is like for star darts and like wizards and whatever, it is a real shit show to try to take out. And when I say that 4-letter words, it's shh, it's IT. Something's wrong in the head. Yeah, I noticed. I was complaining on my yellow phone to God in my Fisher-Price kitchen when I first got here, as soon as I started talking to Lynn and realizing that there was no feedback. It says source CDC and HHS. I don't know what that is or who those people are. Center for Disease Control usually is CDC, but again, in Disease Control and Divine Comedy, I'm not quite sure.
Hospitalizations across the U.S. seem to be holding steady. That number is 16,000, with some regions seeing upticks in just the past 7 days, especially here in the Northeast. But Dr. Jen, we are continuing to see that decline in death rates, in overall cases. But in terms of how the subvariant is behaving, there is a new report out about COVID and kids.
Yeah, and again, we're waiting for the clinical trial data for the vaccine for children under the age of 5. So again, the more data we get, the more that informs hopefully what we'll be doing this summer. So when you look
Now, the word plateau right here. Is that plat map? Or is that for super? What's at the supper? For plate. I mean, it's plat plate. It's Eastern athletics. There's, there's EAU. It's like in G. And this says American Academy of Pediatrics. Are those the kiddos that are walking? Because PE is the gym equipment. And then you got DIA. And then you got the tricks. And it's really concerning about how the adults in my life frame in public school have explained these words and what they've associated with them in the sleep category. Like, what's your sleep number? Well, I don't know. I've been here 43 years. I mean, I hear their sleepy version, and then there's the woke version of me digesting what it could possibly be, and then I don't know. All right, let me get to that commercial that aired for the first time. I had to look to see what the commercial was for that I just saw. So it's for this thing that the locals use or the words that they use for mental disease called bipolar, 1 and 2, and depression. Now, the lack of white doctors and active staff that are up to snuff with what's actually going on in the New York area about the intrusion, the invasion, and the drug pushers, the organized crime mixed with sports. Like, that level of knowledge is so few and far between. It's disturbing for me that they even reference anything by the way that the humans have taught themselves, but from an Ebonic state of mind, like bishops teaching the kids how to make the white kids look like they're criminally insane. Meanwhile, it's not. It's just a problem that's a systemic problem at this point with trying to make the Mount Rushmore kids look diseased or unfit or whatever to hide crimes that the organized units and the mobs there's more bile in my stomach and on the streets than I would like to ever admit, but it is plain as can see in plain clothes looking around at just the counts, extreme counts of numbers being off. And then management showing up saying that they're management, and I can't verify that. You don't look Mount Rushmore to me. And then it becomes a he said, she said, and real big problems. It's like, whose law enforcement agency? Are you the criminally organized law enforcement agency? Or are you the Mount Rushmore Kids Defense Team? It's really hard to decipher.
News, America's #1 news source. The lows of bipolar depression can leave you down and in the dark. But what if you could begin to see the signs of hope all around you? What if you could let in the light? Discover Caplyta.
So now, and it says by prescription only. Here's the thing. I don't know if this is one of those things where they're trying to fix the extrinsic, or if they're actually requiring an ingestible intrinsic value change for extrinsic to actually do the correct thing and fix the main component or compartment of space that's broken in North America due to this sociopathic, medical, and challenging real master intelligence with like the joke section. That gets confusing, and then the kinesthetic exchange between physiology and then physics. So I'm not sure if when they come out with this, what this is actually in like real intelligence that I don't have access to, and I'm really frightened of meeting one day in any larger quantity than one. But again, I know that this is helpful because this is something that they're up to. I'm just not quite sure, as I look more like that, and I don't know what they're doing with what they're going to acknowledge and what they're going to keep quiet. I'm not sure.
Caplyta is a once-daily pill proven to deliver significant relief from bipolar depression. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta treats both bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 depression. And in clinical trials, feelings of inner restlessness and weight gain were not common.
Right. High cholesterol and weight gain may occur as high blood sugar, which may be fatal. Monitoring is recommended. On the same program, the two doctors were going back and forth. Something about a keto diet, keto. I have no idea what that is. Again, I don't have access to that level of diet and nutrition. I mean, it's complete starvation where I am of opportunity, of real people you can trust in the field. I mean, I really haven't found any of those. And if I found them, once upon a time, they just disappeared in whatever superheroes do, and there's only so many of them.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke.
And if anybody suggests lithium with my Cat in the Hat situation at Dr. Seuss, I suggest bullets in the head faster than anything, because that's the wrong answer.
Fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. These aren't all the serious side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta from Intracellular Therapies.
Intracellular therapy. That's interesting. First time I've ever heard that referenced on the television. Now, this is interesting. Speaking of organized crime, and there's a mention of Obama. He's returning to the scene of the crime. Apparently, he did something called Obamacare Act. No idea what that's in reference to. But it seems to be a big thing that it made Channel 7 News today.
In just a few minutes, former President Obama will join President Biden at the White House as President Biden announces new steps that his administration is taking to build onto the Affordable Care Act. Those steps will include a new executive order and proposed rule from the Treasury Department.
Now, how much money did they spend and where exactly did every dime go for that stupid internet scheme that they were all up to, wasting 8 years of precious time on the field, counting down someone else's biological clock?
To fix the so-called family glitch, which has prevented millions of families from access to healthcare subsidies. It comes on the 12th anniversary of the healthcare law. Mr. Obama will mark the occasion with his first visit to the White House since he left office. And that is the news for now. Be sure to join us for Eyewitness News First at 4. We're streaming all the time at ABC7 New York and the 3 afternoon.
By the way, when the criminal act was taking or being performed with him claiming to have won some kind of election and be in the White House, which I did not vote for. I would have never voted for him. I had no idea who the vice president even was. They made no mention. They made no attempt at mentioning. It was just strictly him. Something about and really, like, I mean, again, there's no, like, daily briefing of what the person living in the White House is doing. I mean, like, in New York, it's been stuck in a hole with very limited access to communications or to even a clue as to what the president is doing with the flag on the field and the 48 puzzle pieces. This to me looks like organized crime justice. Organized crime justice, rather, or I mean, like, they call themselves criminal justice. Right, yeah, no, I know. That's still part of the organized crime unit. Again, I don't participate in your organized criminal network in the 48 pieces of North America. There's a higher being somewhere that's in charge, and I don't believe anything that's going on right now.
Of having those officers leave to other departments. So what we're really focused on is officer wellness. We're bringing...
They're critical only because of all of this immigration and migration that's out of control. And this drug cartel at synthetic and marijuana and cannabis level mixed with the synthetic kids, and now it's like, and that's the sports arena kids that went to college, they get to touch the chemicals and like push chemical drugs, and then you've got the growers at the bottom pushing the natural stuff. How does anybody stay safe when I don't, like, do I have any family anywhere in the world? Here's another new one. Brezestri aerosphere. Whatever. It's an inhalation aerosol. Now here's the symbol. Now, oddly enough, the symbol looks like a golf ball, but it doesn't look like, again, I don't know how they're using. It says for COPD. So that cop, or is it a C op that ended in a D? Again, I'm in a BA dot lowercase d situation, so in a BA gamma of sorts.
If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri. Breztri gives me better breathing
And here it says COPD flare-ups defined as sudden or worsening symptoms that result in additional therapies. Results may vary.
and helps prevent flare-ups. Before Breztri, I was stuck in the past. I still had bad days. Flare-ups, which kept me from doing what I love. My doctor said, for my COPD, it was time for Breztri. Breztri gives gives you better breathing, symptom improvement, and helps prevent flare-ups. Like no other COPD medicine,
And this looks very 1960s, like the disgusting crowd.
Breztri was proven to reduce flare-ups by 52%.
Breztri won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breztri more than prescribed. Breztri may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain.
Thrush! My God, it gives you yeast in the mouth? What kind of medicine is this? And what are you using as a base for that aerosol?
Pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri.
It's hard to live your life.
I want to hear Kardashian. Here's an over-the-counter medicine they sell a lot of. Pepto-Bismol, and those in dismal situations. Also by P&G.
And we're back now with a celebrity animal trainer helping us to create new and lasting bonds with the dogs we love so much. Take a look.
You might recognize this little girl right here. This is Katana. I found her on the streets of South LA, and now she is in training to go to her new home. My love of animals.
He makes me think that good people do exist in the world. Like, just one. And he's with animals, so I'm not having to worry about any side argument on this one conversation.
When I was born, my parents were wild animal trainers, and from a young age, I was always exposed to animals, and we were taught as small children to understand, not only respect the animal, but understand the origins of each animal we're working with. I spent 15 years training animals for the movies out here in Los Angeles, and then in 2012, I quit the industry altogether because I saw there was an epidemic with shelter dogs in America.
That is so cool. Like, I mean, again, that kind of opportunity did not exist for me in my life frame. And if it did, it was taken away and given to someone else. I have no idea whom. Now, these are a bunch of commercials. They blame it on smoking. This is a different commercial ad of a real person that they put all over the place. I'm not suggesting smoking. I'm not judging for smoking, but there's other extrinsic barometer pressure point issues that are going on that hastens and makes this stuff worse. And then they blame it on smoking.
The worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT now.
Right, it's like telling the enemy and the kids that already are looking for any excuse to make your life worse by calling into that number and telling them willfully that you smoked at some point in your life. Just say, I never smoked. It'll make reparations and requiem a lot easier. Now this commercial's interesting.
If you have type 2...
Now it's this guy and this woman. They're sitting in front of a broken gasket system. And there's like vapor spray everywhere. Do you see this? That's significant.
Diabetes or high blood pressure. You're a target for chronic kidney.
So they're claiming it on diabetes. They blame a lot on diabetes, again, in the brokenness. And then there's concentric circles with that broken gasket and fountains in the center. It's just a different angle.
kidney disease. You can already have it and not know it. If you have chronic kidney disease, your kidney health could depend on what you do today.
And it's called FAR, and it's what looks like an 11 GA. They pronounce it Farxiga. Farxiga? Farxiga. And it might affect something to do with kidneys. It may not work, it says. For people with moderate to severe kidney problems. And then they put on what's going on with the Supreme Court thing, like all this back and forth, even at my whatever on this thing. But they have 3 faces I will happily display that are planning on voting for this one representative at the U.S. Supreme Court, just so this way white sharks that are well fed know exactly what's going on and who or to whom is involved.
Supreme Court confirmation battle. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson now supported by at least 3 key Republican senators. Alaska's.
Whoa, what is going on in Republican territory? It says at least 3 key. I mean, like, is anyone able to protect them so they can make the correct Republic decision? Just curious. Or what's on the back end of all of these careers? In their careers, do they make bad choices? Is that why now they're punishing the rest of us that rely and expect them to make the right decisions? I'm just curious. How is the world ever going to be a better place if they keep making all the wrong choices and taking away all of the Rushmore kids and the ancestors' personal freedoms and participation in the system? I mean, they reside somewhere in the state of circus of, I don't know if it's the circus, the circa, or the circuit of Washington, D.C., which I think is Maryland, maybe it's Virginia. I can't get a straight answer out of the 2 that I was born through into this natural world with some intelligent design that looks like it has a lot of flaws.
Lisa Murkowski and Utah's Mitt Romney joining Maine's Susan Collins with their support for President Biden's choice to fill the upcoming vacancy on the U.S. Supreme Court. Judge Jackson now in a clue.
Did anyone ever think that maybe Dad was being pressured by some outside force to make what looks like all the wrong decisions? Just curious. Based on all the drug commercials, all the cannabis and marijuana and the Tijuana, and then some Ukraine war going on somewhere else. Anybody ever think that maybe Dad's having a rough day at the office? Just curious.
Clear path to be approved by the full Senate by the end of the week. And to the wild ending to March Madness in New Orleans. The amazing comeback. Kansas pulling off an epic victory. The Jayhawks winning their 4th national title. The Tar Heels dominating the
Tar Heels, Tarnation. What in Tarnation? Right, yeah, it looks like they're winning national championships. For what reason, what purpose? I don't know. I never even seen one of these things before. I mean, they keep all this stuff hidden in their secret, weird social societies and groups that, and then don't even like interact with the Roosevelt and the president kids. I mean, again, organized crime just going on all over the place, and I can't find an honest rep to speak with and ask how to protect myself and my kids from all of this champions creating all new, like, fraudulent schemes and moving new tenants in and out of, like, I didn't sign up for any of this, and I don't know how to find the White Shark League because they were busy doing something else while I was growing up. Again. But the whole Supreme Court thing, they also have I'm a wondering woman at this point. I mean, Wonder Woman, superhero, Marvel, right? But then Whoopi Goldberg announced the other day there was a division between Marvel Comics and Disney. I don't know what that's about. Again, she has the inside information, which is really sick, considering I look more like the Disney princess than she does. But just on the off chance, they're now rebranding, it looks like, just if only by visual whatever, some tennis player to take the place of the original Wonder Woman, which was Diana Prince, which had a very unique characteristic, whatever. Not quite sure where the kids are going with this at the organized criminal ring. I mean, again, I have no access to them. Now here, this is who's partaking in this rewrite over the original scripted, purposeful franchise. No idea how they gained access, and they're just doing their identity thief thing in this criminal ring. But here we are. They're the two actors portraying it.
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand together. Watch. Serena Williams, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman.
You cannot be serious! Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. DirecTV Stream. Now get
Just doesn't look right. I'm going back to the dog guy, the one thing that looked right on the TV tonight, so I end on a good note. He has this thing where the dog was pre-programmed and has a breed category that it was built for in its genetics. And so before you buy a dog or make a commitment to a dog, it's good to know what kind of dog you're investing in, so this way the dog performs and the owner's expectations are met and doesn't let the dog down either in this wonderful relationship between man and animal.
All dogs were domesticated from the wolf. But most people don't know what their particular dog's job was at one given time. But once you understand the origins of your dog's original job, you'll understand your dog on your couch, and you'll be a lot more understanding of their behavioral problems. You have to roll the punches because it's purely wrapped up in their genetics. One of the things that
Right, their behavioral problems are wrapped up in their genetics, because some people are actually, I mean, that's a portion of it.
inspired me.
I don't know why there's been a stray away from that.
Homebody.
In basic instincts.
But their dog is super high energy, and so I wanted people to understand the dog's personality. Why wouldn't you want to understand your dog's story? Your dog is not just a cute little face that barks. Your dog has a long, drawn-out history that is arguably longer than humankind itself.
Good! Perfect! Beautiful! Bravo!
And the story of your dog is now available wherever books are sold.
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.